Hey guys, hey guys, welcome to the live stream. Yeah, TrinFx. Um, and this is just makeup for the fact that we didn't go live. We didn't have the Zoom calls yesterday evening due to some technical difficulties. I was unable to do the Zoom calls and really go over the chart analysis from Sunday market open. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're just gonna make up for that and look at what we can see are going on the charts right now, as well as possible setups that we can get as things progress right now. And it does look like we will get some setups on the GBP side of things. So that's what I'm looking out for now. Just looking to see if we could get some trade setups for the GBP. I'm just updating the group here that we are going live. Like sessions. Like I said, this is something that I'm gonna be doing more regularly too, right? Coming on live, talking to you guys about the markets, really helping in any way that I can in terms of, understanding the market movements, from my perspective at the very least. And hopefully that could help you as well when it comes to your trading. All right. So yeah, so far, as you can see what we have happening right now, GBP CHF, this was a trade idea, trade setup that we took within the VIP as well as the free group as well. I sent this out. I entered somewhere right around on the top here, looking for price to continue downwards, and we did get that movement, right? Um, on the 4 hour here, you can see this is what I was looking at on the 4 hour, right? On the daily on the 4 hour, what we saw, right, on the previous day, this would have been Sunday. We had this market close to the upside, coming into this major area of resistance slash this previous support level, right? And we saw that price actually push past this level right here, and we continue with that strong negative bearish sort of outlook on GBP CHF. As of right now, we do have certain fundamentals playing with the GBP strength in terms of the UK elective prime minister, stuff like that, and other bearish economic outlooks as well, really playing into that weakness. So all of that encompass why I looked to short this instead of looking for a long continuation, right? Because the short seemed more probable, it seemed more likely to happen. Thus, at this point, I was looking for a pullback into this zone, which was right around here, and a continuation lower, right? So once price did come back into the zone, I expected it to start coming back down. And basically, what we'll get is a rejection on the daily level from this area of importance, right? So that is what I was looking out for, and that is what we saw happen. So on the 1 hour, we entered right as price started breaking from these highs right here, right? We saw that we didn't get a continuation movement upwards. Therefore, it looked like we will have more bearish momentum, more for bearish short side buyers, right? So price would start going down eventually, and that's why we took the trade right around here, looking to see that continuation. And as you see, price did reach here around like 2% in profit. Then we started stalling, we pulled back, and now we're looking for the continuations, right? The same idea was for the GP JPY, same trade idea as well, right around here, right? Price came into that zone, retested, and we was looking for a continuation. Once price did push past this area right here, and we got a bearish candle close, we were more likely to see a continuation to the downside. So that is the idea behind this GBP JPY setup that we do have right now. A trade that I'm in right now, looking for those continuation downs. As you can see right now, we are in a sort of a looking only 30 minutes, right? We have this sort of supportive zone. So once price does push past this area, we're more likely to see that continuation down, right? And you can see that this is a support area. If we're looking to the left here, we have these two regions where price basically pushed past above. So we have that retest level right there. But again, if we see that pullback, if we see price actually push past this area, right, the continuation seems more likely for me. So right now, I am managing my risk overall. I am expecting price to continue moving downwards. Uh, yeah, so my stop loss, I might extend that depending on what we see happening here. But you can see that we are getting that pullback, right? So if that continues, then price will continue moving down. If not, then we'll re-enter the trade right around the entry point. If we get a bearish candle close into the zone, then the continuation seems more probable. But right now, overall, the GBP is weak. Thus, I am looking for sell setups in terms of the GBP cross pairs, right? Just GBP, JPY, and GBP CHF, and that's it for in terms of trades that I'm looking at now. Taking an overall look at the market, we did have some fundamental themes that did come into play. So looking at the economic calendar, let's just look at this week. So thus far, what we had in terms of the fundamental playouts, we had euro inflation numbers. We did come high with the inflation, so we saw an increase. However, with the underlying fundamentals being the fact that inflation is high, even though we did have these increase, that really made the euro kind of just consolidate. Really, we didn't get too much movement to the upside. We didn't get any real swing to the downside either, right? Even though we did have those bullish numbers with CPI coming out better, the core inflation and inflation rate as well, the comparison and monthly comparison. We did see inflation come higher, and usually that would signal a sort of a bullish movement from the euro, right? And if we take a look, this would have been around Monday, right? So we saw the euro pushed up a little bit right here. However, we just started to kind of consolidate, right? Looking at the euro USD, same sort of thing, right? So price pushed down here, right? We had that little bearish sentiment hitting, and then it just started kind of consolidating within this area right now. So in terms of overall fundamentals, when we do look at the USD cross pairs with the euro and the other cross currencies against the US dollar, the main focus, the main highlight is what the Fed is doing and the US dollar, which is the currency overall reserve currency of the global economy. So that usually carries more weight than these other assets that we are watching, such as the euro, the AED, NZD, GBP, and so forth. Especially the yen when we look at USD yen, because the yen, we don't have a lot going in terms of monetary policies when it comes to the yen, because it is considered more of a stable economy. Therefore, we don't see much in terms of like growth and overall expecting a lot of movements from the yen, right? So if we do see the yen being strong, it's usually because it's more of a that safe haven sort of aspect that the yen plays a part of, right? Rather than the yen being strong, it's more of that safe haven aspect that it has. So we have been seeing the yen pretty much becoming a little bit more bullish, so to say. But that again, that is because not because the yen, the Japanese economy itself is like increasing interest rate at an exponential rate or anything like that. It's just because overall they are known to have more of a stable economy. So that in terms of where we are with inflation and all these other underlining factors that really place fears in the market gives the JPY, gives the yen a sort of a strength a factor compared to the other currencies. So that is why we could expect to see the yen being sort of bullish or at least getting major pullbacks in some movements. So that is something that you should take note of and something that you could potentially make a trade out of, such as again looking at the JPY trade setup. That is one of the reasons why I took this trade right around here, expecting the continuation to happen, right? And compared with the fundamentals that we do have for the GBP, being that it's weakened, it gives the yen all that much of a better chance to see this continuation going down. So that is one of the reasons why I chose this pair. Um, yeah, but overall, in terms of the fundamentals for all the other currencies and what we had, right, the euro really didn't do much. We had the RBA interest rate. We got that increase by 25 base points, right, base points, but that didn't do much in terms of the overall movement on the charts, right? We saw that didn't really do anything. Looking here at 80 CAD, we did have interest rates increase for the 80 CAD for the CAD, sorry, as well, right? So compared the CAD to the 80, interest rates did go higher for the CAD at that 75, not 75, sorry, I believe 50 base point increase, right? It was lower than expected, but however, we did get that increase. That really played with the CAD strength. With it not coming out as we expected, we saw the CAD basically move sort of bearish as the news event did come out because we didn't get that increase. However, overall, overall, this is a lot better than what we got from the AD. Hence, we see in price just sort of ranging right now. So this right here is like a no trade zone. If we're looking at it for on, let's say we want to push the envelope for a possible trade, then I would think more likely than possible. I would like to see a break below this level right here, right? So we have two levels right here to pay attention to. It's just let me just change the format of the template so it's a little bit more easier to recognize. Right? So we have these two areas where prices trading in a zone right now. So if we do see a push pass above here and we get a bullish close, then we could possibly target this area right around here as the continuation movement, right? Because that would mean that we now have a clear bias to the upside if we break out of this zone, and vice versa. If we break to the downside, which is the more expected move for me, then we should get a clear continuation pushing even further down. And this, I think, has more of a likely probability to play out. Again, we are looking and we are waiting for confirmations of that idea. If price does reach into this area, then we could say, okay, at that point, we made up our mind as to where the direction of this should be. We have more selling pressure than buying pressure. Therefore, we should see a continuation. Price shouldn't just whip back up and then start heading up again, right? After this indecisiveness that we do have, once that decision is met and we get our confluence, whether price is closing to the downside or to the upside, right? Then the probability of seeing that continuation is more likely than, price just waking back up. So that is something that you should pay attention to. That is something that I'm looking forward to possibly getting into. Especially when we look in terms of the fundamentals, the CAD is a lot stronger than the AUD as well as the risk currency assets. We are in sort of a risk off tone, right? But it's hard to say right now because of what we have happening. The fundamentals are fluctuating ever so often, so we can't say with certainty that it will last like this. Just last week we saw that bullishness on price, and the same thing could happen for this week as well. We could see a bullish continuation, or we could just see bearish market continuations, right? And it could continue switching back and forth like that. But in terms of what we have fundamentally and what we have technically right now, once we do get that break, whether it's the upside or the downside, and as I said, I'm more looking forward to seeing a downside break, then that continuation would seem like the better movement to get into. So that's my analysis for AD CAD, right? Um, Looking at the other cross currency pairs, the AD pairs, we are very bearish on them, right? So ADCHF, ADJPY, and this again, if you want to push the envelope right now, we are in a range right here, right? Looking at the recent days, because this is the daily chart. Looking at recent days, we are in a sort of a range. We see that price reached this area multiple times, rejected from it, and we also have the support level right here at the bottom here. Right, taking a look on the 4 hour, what we could see. Okay, overall, we are continuing with a sort of a bullish movement, right? But right now, we are in this sort of a no trade zone. We are in this consolidation zone. Prices bouncing up and down, not really clear in terms of the trend itself with the lower time frames. So it is more of a risky setup to take anything on this. Price is continuing upwards. We push into this level. So if we do see a candle push to the upside and we close above this level here, again, looking at the daily time frame, that would significantly improve the chances of price having a continuation even higher, probably somewhere into these daily highs right here, right? So this is something that has a lot of probability to actually play out if we do see a bullish candle close to the upside, because now we're confirming that we have enough momentum to continue that swing up, rather than if price just closes in this area right here, then we'll have to wait for more of a clearer, um, more of a clear bias, right? We'll have to wait for more confirmation to see whether we're gonna have that continuation up or if we're just gonna full out this range, right? So that is something that we'll have to wait and see what price does. Um, Again, in terms of the AD, JPY, the two pairs, the two currencies that we do have here, I am more of a fan of the JPY right now, just because of the stability that it holds rather than the AD. So I would look for confirmations to see some sell side continuations, right? So that is what I'll be looking for in terms of this. But obviously, if prices push higher and we get that bullish candle close, then my bias would have to change, just because we can make our biases, we can make our predictions of what the market may do, but we shouldn't get stuck in our ways, right? We should be able to be flexible, especially when the market does what it wants. We can't really control that. So that is something that you should also pay attention to, right? Even though I do have a bias for this to continue moving downwards, if price does push upwards, then the market is doing what it wants, and I'll just have to change my bias in order to take a trade for that potential upside swing, right? But overall, yeah, we're just waiting for confirmations. If price does push past this area and we get that bullish candle close, right, we have more buyers than sellers. More buy continuation seems likely rather than just a sell to the downside, right? So that is something that we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But overall, yeah, that's basically it for this AED Looking at the other pairs, right? Um, the USD, the US dollar has been very weak right now. If you take a look at the DXY, honestly, I pointed out that some at this point, somewhere right here, I'll be looking to sell the dollar, right? Just because this was a key interest area where we should see the DXY reject from and do a pullback back to the downside, right? And I was waiting for that because what we have right now, as you know, the DXY represents the US dollar strength, if you don't know. So when the DXY does move like this, it does give some weakness to the dollar itself. So it plays with dollar strength. And this right here was the interest area. This was the area where I'll look for to take a buy setup on any of these currency pairs, the ones that gives the better yield, such as NCD USD. This was a trade. We took a trade setup somewhere around right here, right? Price ended up stopping us out, but we could have gotten back in for a continuation. Once we saw this bullish candle push up, we could have gotten in on that right here and look for those continuations move back up. All right, let me just take a look in the VIP group. Um, we did take that setup, right? So yeah, the starting of the week, we did take an NCD USD buy with a 17 pip stop loss, right? So price did come right around into that area again. We noted that. So price came right around here, pushed even lower, stopped us out, and then we had that bullish candle close, right? So we had that bullish candle close right back into the entry zone, a little bit past the entry zone, and then we had that continuation, and you can see price would have hit our take profit, and it's just something that you have to take with trading, right? Sometimes you have to hold a L, um, and that's just the case. Sometimes it is what it is. But overall, the general bias that we did have for those continuations back to the upside, price being able to hold this support level and continue up, we were right on that, and it did play out. So overall, not upset by that fact. We did get those continuations, so the bias was correct. Looking at the US dollar, right now, we've been seeing the dollar fall pretty hard, right? We have been seeing clear continuations, clear bearish continuations. However, on the daily time frame, we are maintaining this support zone, right? We are maintaining this overall support zone and this higher bullish movement upwards. I am still very bullish on the US dollar long term. However, short term, we have to we have to use our discretion And at this point right now, the US dollar is pushing downwards, right? So we may just be bouncing up and down between these two areas right here, around on this support level, until we do get some sort of catalyst to basically push the US dollar back to the upside, or get a swing to the upside, right? So overall in daily time frame, we're maintaining this support zone. That is the bigger picture that we are looking at. Looking at the lower time frame, such as the 4 hour and the 1 hour, we can see that we do have some bearishness playing into the market dynamics of the DXY, right? Of the US dollar currency strength. With that being said, we do have some news to look out for. I do believe we do have GDP. We have GDP, and we also have NFP for the dollar on Friday. So you have NFP, which may cause the dollar to move in a bullish, sort of in a bullish tone. We do have also on the Thursday, we have interest rates, right? So on Thursday, we have interest rates looking for a 75 um, bias point increase, right? So that is something that we also looking at, paying attention to. We also have some vote data as well. So all of that will play a part in terms of the GBP strength. That is something you should keep in mind. We should see continuations lower. Despite having an overall bullish outlook on interest rates increase, you need to think about what it means for the economy itself, for the UK economy, right? Higher prices being paid. Of course, lending would be cut short, would be sort of controlled, so to say, right? And that will reduce the overall inflationary levels. But you also have to think about what that means for household income, earnings, and stuff like that. A lot of these other fundamental factors would play um, within the UK economy, which may cause the dollar itself, the GBP dollar, the pound dollar, to actually move in a sort of a bearish tone, right? So that's something you should pay attention to. We will see what happens as that news does come out, and what sort of a movement we do get from that. But overall, I am expecting a sort of a bearish tone movement. Overall, we may get a spike to the upside firstly, and then those continuations lower. But we'll have to wait and see, right? We also have the Fed interest rate decision. Again, a 75-point base increase. So that is something, again, this will be the catalyst that we're paying attention to. And we also have the Fed press conference, right? So the interest rates coming out first, and then 30 minutes later we have the press conference, where they'll basically speak about certain things they are looking at, what they're expecting, whether they're still hawkish in terms of their decisions moving forward with increasing interest rates, what it means in terms of their monetary policy state, their monetary policies, implementations, and other stuff like that that they may be paying attention to, right? A lot of times, what would happen? We see one movement during the interest rate decision, and then either this press conference, it it reaffirms that movement to the upside or downside, whichever the cases would be. And again, we are seeing a interest rate increase, right, which is usually bullish for the dollar. So in this case, this could either reaffirm that position or that movement to the upside, right, thereby giving DXY that strength to continue upwards. And you'll see prices such as this NZD USD, you see this just straight up fall back down into the zone and even push lower. You'll see the stocks actually come down from where they are right now, such as NAS 100 and US 30 as well. So these are possible setups that you can get. As you can see, the price is ranging quite a bit, right? So we are ranging quite a bit, waiting for those decisions to come out, for that news to come out, to really decide whether we're going to get a continuation upwards or whether we're going to just fall and basically just correct all these other days of movement, right? How much ever days, well, 2 days, 3 days, right? So price could actually push all the way back down here and even lower. So that is something you could pay attention to and possibly get a setup out of. But yeah, looking overall right now, we are consolidating, moving to the upside. But as you can see, how the wicks, the candles are forming, this is that consolidation, that sort of indecisiveness that we are seeing in the market right now. So the continuations, whether we'll have to wait for the interest rate decisions and the Fed conference to see whether we get those continuations and maybe the US dollar basically reaffirm itself. So that's it for right now. We don't really have much going on. In terms of the fundamentals, that is it we're looking at. Setting up for this new month. Overall, in terms of setups for right now, GBP, JPY, JP, CHF. Right, these continuation plays on the pound weakness is what I'm looking at. We could possibly get trades on CAD CHF, CAD JPY. CAD CHF, I'll look for a possible setup on this, but I want to take this to the upside, right? And just because overall we could see that we are swinging to the upside, right? So on this day, this daily candle, I want to see it reaffirm and sort of hold this area it's pushed past against, and then those continuations higher does look more like a probability to actually play out, right? If you pull this more to the left, you can see that price did clear all of this noise here, right? So we could see that we have some bullishness in the market right now. So yeah, I'll wait to see how this candle closes on the day. If we reaffirm our position here at this new support level, then price may continue higher up. So I'll just be waiting for a possible setup on that. And looking right here on the 1 hour chart, you can see more clearly that this is a level of importance. So price may even pull lower into this level and then we get a continuation moving up, or we could just get a continuation from right here or a pullback down, right? So it's really anybody's guess. But right now, overall, in terms of the daily, the 1 hour, and the fundamentals as well, yeah, that movement back upwards looks like something that could actually happen and have a lot of potential to play out. All right, and that's basically it for me in terms of what I'm looking at, what I'm expecting to see play out. We do have a lot of fundamental news coming out, such as the interest rates and also the GDP interest rates as well. We have CPI for the Swiss as well. So all of this as well will contribute to the sort of consolidations we are seeing in price. And we are in a low volume situation too. So with that in mind, we should see a lot of consolidating happening, right? We would like to see price movements in the directions that we would like to see, such as this continuation moving upward. But if we don't have volume, then we'll just have to wait for those moments where we have a catalyst to basically give us that explosive movement, right? So that is just my take about how you should be trading right now. You shouldn't be forcing any trades, especially in low volume situations. Therefore, that is why we'll have to wait for those moments to get the best possible setups, the best possible trades and yields that we can, right, with low risk, right? And right now you should be using a low risk and really managing your risk tolerance as well in times of these low volume situations, right? So that's just my take on the market right now, what we have happening. As you can see, this is what I'm looking at. The cells playing out beautifully, right? So if we get a continuation here, that'll be pretty nice, as well as for the GBP as well, pretty nice as moving forward. So hopefully everybody will be able to make a little something off of this. And let's take a look at gold real quick, right? Again, we are expecting that US dollar, right, the DXY to recover from the Fed news, right? Everything that we are paying attention to globally, all the money makers, the whatever you want to call them, the large banks, the hedge funds. We're looking at the worldwide currency reserve, right, which is the US dollar. We're looking at the Fed. The Fed is the highlight. The Fed is what is everybody paying attention to. We're paying attention to what the Fed is going to do, right? We have those interest rates increase, obviously. So bullish movements for the US dollar, right? That is what everybody wants to see right now. So looking at gold, you can see that we do have this area of support sort of right here. Price is pushing bullishly right now. We do have this area of multiple resistance, right? Price reached into this area, we pulled back. Then we pulled back sharply right here on this daily candle right here, right? This bearish daily candle, right? Signifying, sorry, that that US dollar strength is still there. The reason why we are currently just ranging right now is because we do have an idea that the US dollar is still very much strong. With that being said, you're not seeing much of like gold being bought, anything like that, especially when things are how they are with inflation being the main concern, on everybody's radar. So the gold buying and stuff like that has been quite minimized compared to how it would have been in a situation, as COVID did now hit and stuff like that, when that was the only team that actually played in the US dollar weakness, when they did have more printing money, right? And that's where inflation, sorry, first started to sort of start rising, when they had to stimulate the economic growth of the economy, by printing more money, right? And making fiscal packages and stuff like that. So all of that did play into why gold did gain some strength during that time. Um, but that being said, right now, what we're looking at here on the daily and the 4 hour, yeah, price could actually just reach into the zone. We start ranging, we start bouncing into the zone right around like this here that we're seeing here. All of these are for our candle representations, right? So price could do all of this, and then when we do have that interest rate release, that news release, we could just see a pip movement just wick all the way down, right? Like 600 pips or something like that. That is something that could very likely happen and has a lot of probability to actually play out, right? So that is something you could pay attention to moving into tomorrow's. Is it tomorrow? We have that. Yeah. So it's tomorrow, right? Around that would be 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock tomorrow, right? 2 p.m. So we do have that news coming out. Yeah, that is something that has a lot of potentiality to actually play out. So yeah, what I'm trading the interest rates decision. I don't know as yet, but I would go live from around 9 to 11. We are going live, right? And we'll see what happens throughout that period. Um, so yeah, that's it right now. With that being said, that's it for the live stream. I do hope that you guys do have a great trading week, and I hope if you learn something from this, then leave a like. If you're not already subscribed, then subscribe. Help the channel out. Let's reach out to those people that are now starting their trading journey. And if they need some useful information, then hopefully they can find this channel and find something out of it. Um, so yeah, that's it. Thank